Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for June 14th, 2020, with your host, Spacebear2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
We have Ichigo slash Nigo this week because it's Nigo's first 3 episodes, along with Ichigo's last episode, so we hit the 40s. Do I miss Ruriko already? Because these 3 girls are nothing.
Annoying.
Yeah, kind of. It's like, why are you 3? You 3 have done less in 3 episodes than I think Ruriko did in 1.
Like, I know that's kind of mean to be like, yeah, they're annoying, but they are. God, they are.
Especially since last week we came off an episode where Ruriko more or less took the lead because she had to. That was the only way we could do this episode. And I'm like, oh, you're coming to your own. You get to do stuff. Yeah. What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean you're gone? What do you mean you don't come back? What do you mean you don't do anything while you're gone? Because there's an SIC story that fills in the gap between this first episode we're covering and then the next 2 episodes.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of got a problem with the initial introduction for Nigo because it assumes that, you know, everyone knows that Hongo was Ichigo.
Apparently, when I'm like, wait a minute, didn't only Tachibana know? Wait,
yeah,
what do you mean?
Yeah,
oh my god.
Yeah, Tachibana is the only one that knows. And it's like, okay, no one has questions on this? Are we all just assuming that was known? I mean, what?
I feel like the writing for the supporting cast in this series is a bit spotty in terms of assuming what they know.
To me, it almost feels like we had some kind of a change in the staff. Like, not a massive one to completely skew it, but a small one that kind of, some of the minor details fell through the cracks.
Yeah.
Because that's almost what that felt like. Where it was a case of, what do you mean the supporting cast didn't know? Oh. Kind of concept. But yeah, that was my complaint there on that one.
Let me check the writers real quick. Okay, that person. Okay, they just write all of the next batch of episodes for us, more or less. Okay, so the same person wrote like all 4 of these episodes. And wrote the next episode, but didn't write another episode till 26.
What about the first 12 episodes?
He wrote 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7.
Then maybe he doesn't realize. And that might have been the oops.
Another person wrote 5, 8, and 12. And then another person wrote... Wait, what do you mean you don't have credits for the original series? You wrote... Wiki? Oh, okay, there it is. Oh, it listed his directing credits first before his writing credits. That was the problem.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. So just one person wrote 11. It's the only episode he wrote. And then another person wrote... Apparently their credits don't list. Oh, wait, nope. Oh. Why? Damn it. So one person wrote 9 and 10. So that 2-parter. And then they wrote 2021 in the future for us.
We've scheduled a short meeting for you tonight. We're in Northwest 184th Street, Department 105. And,
I don't know. It just seems like we have a few different writers on this series, and maybe this just
Maybe it's a
proper
lack of
notes aren't-
communication.
Yeah, I think the proper notes aren't just getting passed around up to like what the fuck the supporting cast is supposed to know.
our address over on 24th Northeast Street. We want you to take care of it.
I mean, if it's a case like that, I'm fine with it.
Good job.
Because it is a minor detail, I can overlook that kind of deal, but... Oof.
Yeah, apparently we had 2 writers on episode 4.
Miami Funeral Home.
It's one of those, it's the same problem that we see now even, so it's a case
Yeah.
of they've not learned.
Yeah. It doesn't help that it seems like there's like 6 different writers on this series.
Yeah,
That is-
already.
Yeah, that's like, whoa, okay, that's too many cooks.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is 13, 14, 15, and 16 this week, folks, and how'd you feel going into these episodes?
Kind of just in the meh. I mean, I've got to say, seeing the intro change, even though it was slightly, it's like, okay. It
Well, it's the
feels
same-
like now we're kind of getting to the point where they've got their feet on the ground now.
Yeah. We got that. We have a new rendition of the song, because it's the same song, but it's a different singer, I think? Or maybe it's the same
think.
singer, it's just someone solo, instead of having multiple people sing it at the same time.
It's at least better quality, at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those that's weird that I see that big of a change in quality right there.
Yeah. Although I do enjoy the very obvious on a set footage of Nigo riding his bike from one rooftop to the other.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so bad.
It could look worse.
True.
Also, I am happy and sad about the whole, every villain disintegrating into bubbles.
Yeah.
It's
Everyone-
that felt too cheesy, and I'm kind of glad they quit, but at the same time, that was the kind of cheese that I kind of found funny.
Yeah, I miss it. Everyone just goes boom now. Everyone just explodes, and I'm like, aw. I miss
like-
the really weird, dumb effects.
It's a case of, and I know the problem is, we're so used to now all the monsters literally just boom.
Yep.
So the fact that we have switched back to that, it's like, now this isn't
Yeah.
anything special.
And now we have a protagonist change for quite a while, and it feels weird to be like, oh, you're just the main writer now. You're just the writer now. Okay.
Yeah.
Because like we extremely do not get that anymore. But anything else before we hit the recaps in a weird way because of how our 4 episodes play out?
Yeah. I feel like maybe the 3 episode one should have came earlier.
Yeah.
Kind of set us on a better track for this, but nah.
Oh well, that's what I get for not doing proper research. Anyway, we kick things off with episode 13, Tokugaran in the Big Monster Army. So we're at an atomic research facility when Shocker attacks with more or less every monster that's shown up in the series so far. Like all of them. As they attempt to break in and cause some chaos by making the facility explode and I guess irradiating the surrounding area. Unfortunately, they are stopped by a force field that they need a monster to break through. And their plan is to convert a soccer player in order to kick a bomb into the force field, destroying it. Why?
Because soccer players can kick balls pretty good.
Why do they need to kick a ball into the force field to blow it up? Specifically, the ball is a bomb. Why do you need to kick the bomb into the force? Can you not just use the bomb?
I mean, that would take all the fun out of it.
Apparently. So this is their plan, and after this little like planning session from Shocker, we cut over to Amigo as everyone is having a laugh about the whole marriage thing last week, and we're told Hongo is off to go investigate the lab, thanks to stock footage, and not Hongo doing voiceover for the last time. Meanwhile, Shocker makes their monster, who is just some soccer player that is really good and is kind of an asshole. So, oh well, I guess it's fine if we blow him up. But meanwhile, we check in with Taki, who is already at the facility keeping an eye out for it, when a mysterious car drives by, which of course is Shocker, because they are looking for the weak point in the force field so they know where to kick the ball to. Because that's important. Wouldn't it just be easier to infiltrate the facility at this point?
Probably, yeah.
This is too much work for this plan. Anyway, after seeing this car, we also see that Ruriko is nearby, and she follows the car, and then Taki follows it as well. Unfortunately, fortunately, they follow it to a mansion where Taki heads in instead of Ruriko, who got there first, because stuff I don't want to talk about because, yeah. There's a line there that I'm like, this is 1970, isn't it? Yep, it's 1970. That's a thing. Yep, moving on. He heads inside and finds just the owner owns a bunch of statues of the other monsters. Which, spoilers, those statues aren't statues. They're the actual people that I guess he just hid them under blankets just to make sure that for a ruse or something. I don't know. That's the weird part of this. Where I'm like, why are you posing as statues? Why do you have blankets on top of you as well? Why are you doing this? Did you know you were being followed and this was all a ruse to throw them off? I'm confused. Shocker's plans confuse me sometimes.
I mean, that's to be understood kind of deal.
Yeah. Anyway, this guy runs off Taki with the excuse of being an eccentric collector, and I have to go, did no one tell Taki about Shocker monsters of previous? And shouldn't he recognize one of these monsters as being one he's already encountered? Because hasn't he encountered one of these already?
I feel like yes.
Shouldn't he be suspicious about this person who's collected monsters of Shocker? It's like, wait a minute, I know you. You tried to kill me. Anyway, they're thrown off the scent, I guess, for now, and they leave. But the guy who turns out to be the new monster, who is just some giant Godzilla-looking thing, says they need to be murdered. So they are eventually attacked down the road later by an avalanche of rocks, because this monster's one move is to throw rocks at people. But thankfully, before they are killed, Hongo shows up and just runs over a rock in the air, because that's how physics work. and he fights the monster. But unfortunately, he is swiftly beaten because Rock beats Ryder in this scenario.
Very true. Yes.
Yep. So we cut to Taki recovering in the hospital because he was injured in the attack, as the team is more or less regrouping. Meanwhile, Hongo is off at a mountain, kicking the mountain so rocks can fall on him, and he can learn to take the hit and beat the monster, I guess, is his plan. But Tachibana shows up to be like, I want to help you train, so I'm going to climb up this mountain that is, like, extremely steep, and I don't know how the fuck you got up there, Tachibana. What? How did you... Whatever.
Very carefully.
Yeah. More or less through all of this, Hongo ends up developing a stronger rider kick that will be enough to blow up the new monster. So we cut over to Taki as he exits the hospital and drops his FBI badge because, by the way, this is when we reveal that Taki is actually an FBI agent who I guess was just coincidentally here when he stumbled upon Shocker stuff, and now he's trying to take down Shocker on his own. Okay. But he heads to the base and gets waylaid by goons when he finds the Shocker base under it. But Hongo has to... But thankfully, Hongo is at the facility when the monsters attack and deflects the bomb before it hits the force field. Unfortunately, he now has to face every monster he has fought before, including the new one, and he more or less tears through all of them very quickly with a bunch of rider kicks and just running them over. Hongo kind of chops everybody out here. And he ends the fight by doing his lightning rider kick to the bomb that is kicked at him, back at the monster, and it blows up all the monsters. So, yay.
Yay.
So this is when Taki and the others arrive, and they more or less see him off, and the day is saved, and that's the end of our episode. I guess the best way to put it is, like, how did you feel about all of these buffer episodes? Yeah, including this one.
I feel like in the grand scheme of things, it's unneeded, but because of the way that I'm sure it all fell apart kind of together, it was the only thing that they could do.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I feel like if they had to go back and redo it all, then this should be that cut content kind of deal, but otherwise, yeah, I kind of can understand.
Yeah. I think I kind of like what's here, but some of what I like is only here because Hongo is gone and we have to act around that and write around it. Like our Ruriko focus episode, I'm like, one of our female supporting cast members gets a focus episode to kind of like lead the charge. Yay! This only is happening because Hongo's gone. As evidenced by the next 2 episodes.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's probably not the most interesting stuff we've gotten because, oh boy, do you see the seams so hard with these episodes. That we are just patchworking this together in hopes of we go on long enough to get back on track. But unfortunately, where we go isn't super best. Still kind of meh.
Yeah.
Because we head up to episode 14, Raid of the Demon Sabatragon Cactus Man. It's just Cactus Man. So we get a new opening with a new rendition of the theme, as one has become 2 because now Nigo is taking over the show for now, and he's also just referred to writer, so I'm just going to refer to him by his real name. Shocker is calling in support from their, I don't know why I wrote Japanese branch, from their Mexico branch. After one of their commanders blew up a dam and flooded a bunch of towns, I guess. And they're also like 90% conquering Mexico, which sounds like that would be news. But
yeah.
oh well. I guess we're not focused on that.
And it also sounds like far more of a reason for the FBI to be investigating, but that's beside the fact.
Yep. Anyway, Cactus Man wishes to replicate his success in Japan, and we cut over to Taki, meeting one of his FBI buddies who flew in from somewhere, I don't remember where. He flew in to swap intel. Too bad that this guy is Cactus Man, as we'll find out later. But before all that, we're introduced to our new location, because we're not going back to Amigo for ever, maybe, I don't know. We're at the Tachibana Motorcycle Club, aka the club, as we're introduced to our new supporting cast members, who 3 people are replacing Ruriko, because Ruriko and Hongo are gone. Ruriko's never coming back, Hongo's not coming back till episode 40, and I don't know why we're replacing Ruriko with three new people.
Reasons.
Yep, but it's Mari, Yuri, and Michi, and I will guarantee you I will forget which one of these is which after a while, because I do not care. These 3 people collectively do nothing for these entire 3 episodes. And I am like, okay, one of you can fence, one of you has, I guess, go-kart experience? Or some type of experience with riding of some kind, because he mentions like 90cc, but doesn't mention like what vehicle that 90cc engine was in, so And then the other girl is like a 1st-degree black belt in karate. And I'm like, okay, you still collectively do nothing for these 3 episodes except get in one fight scene that you need help getting out of. It also confuses me later about a later scene. Anyway, they're here to join the club because they want lessons, but none of them have motorcycle experience. But Tachibana hires them anyway, I guess, because no one else is joining this club, so fuck it. Let's hire these 3 people. And Chihiro, who's also here, but also has just been demoted to like super background character. But the bartender from Amigo has been upgraded to supporting cast member, because he has like the most lines in these 3 episodes than he ever had in the last like 12. I swear. So we got a weird shuffling of supporting cast. So yeah, Taki meeting with his FBI buddy, he finds out it's Cactus Man, and he crashes the car to do so. But while this is happening, Tachibana gets alerted to Hongo's motorcycle being in the back, and it honks at him, and he rides it on autopilot to where Taki is, I guess, because Hayato dropped it off there, or told it to come to him? I don't know why that happened. That's like the weird part here.
I mean, reasons.
Yeah. Anyway, by the end of all of this happening, Taki bails the car into a ditch to try to kill the monster. Doesn't work. Tachibana arrives. Both of them get jobbed out by goons and our new cactus monster until Nigo arrives, and he buys them an opening for the 3 of them to escape for now. Which, as we see in the next scene, Taki and Tachibana are back at the club, minus the Cyclone, which is the motorcycle, because Hayato will come in later and say that you forgot the motorcycle and drop off the keys to it. How the did the two of them get back to the club?
Yes.
And also, why did Hayato not go with them? I think I'm seeing more of the seams of this episode of, oh, we gotta patchwork you in here somehow.
Because they were uber not prepared.
Yeah.
Like, uber.
Anyway, so they're getting patched up. They hear someone come in. They turn off the lights and try to attack him. He just brushes everything off, and he introduces himself as Hayato Ichimonji, or Hayato. This is Kamen Rider Nigo, just to put it out there. He gives Tachibana the keys to the bike back, and declines to photograph one of the girls because he doesn't photograph girls. Which, okay. Alright. But meanwhile, Cactus Man is explaining how his cactus bombs work because he has special bombs that are like super sensitive to touch and explode when he wants them to, even though they take a little bit of bumping to explode later.
Yeah, a lot of booty bumping.
Yeah, he explained how this works, and then we cut over to Tachibana and Taki trying to infiltrate where the Shocker base is. And they run into Hayato, who's also out for a walk in this area, and plays dumb about being after Shocker, even though I don't understand why Hayato is playing coy this entire time. Because I assume he knows who these people are, because Hongo told them, and he told them to go meet them. It's again one of those, I see those scenes here hard of like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Anyway, he follows them after they almost step on one of the cactus bombs, and he tries to explain to them that the cactus explode, but when he tries to make one of them explode, it doesn't, because Cactus Man says, I have control of when they explode. I have the on-off switch in my head. But eventually they're attacked by Cactus Man's goons, who are the proper Shocker goons, which means these are what the Mexico branch of Shocker goons look like. So the Luchador Max actually makes sense in context.
You know, I didn't think about that, but you're exactly right.
Yeah. Anyway, after attacking, Hayato goes, oh, they're after me, and proceeds to flub his transformation on screen in his first transformation, and they didn't have enough time to do a take two, which I find hilarious. Because he does the pose, remembers he has to unzip his jacket, so he unzips his jacket and then goes and does the rest of the pose. And I'm like, oh my god, did no one want to do a take two on that?
They probably didn't have enough resources to do that.
Probably that, or they're just like, no, we're leaving this in, fuck it. But he does. But he transforms. He takes on the motorcycle goon, or the motorcycle riding goons that are attacking, while Taki and Tachibana take on the ground ones. They're dispatched, but Cactus Man arrives and fights Nigo, and we end the episode mid-fight. Which takes us to episode 15, Counterattack Cactus Man. So Hayato and Cactus Man more or less fight to a draw as Cactus Man runs off. And then we get informed, oh yeah, Hayato also has the supersonic hearing thing that Hongo had. Cool. And the three of them more or less vowed to stop Shocker together. And for those wondering, where did Hayato come from? Because I probably skipped over that in the notes. More or less, Hongo met him in Europe, which is where him and Yuriko went, rescued him, told him to go back to Japan to guard it, while Hongo's busy dealing with whatever's happening in Europe. And Ruriko separates from Hongo at some point, and I guess does nothing. Because I looked into the SIC story that covers this for a little bit, and there's just no information on Ruriko, what she does, like, after she and Hongo split up. Anywho, we then see a flashback of Hayato's surgery before one of the girls, I don't remember which one, I didn't bother to try to remember, drops by and wants photographs done. But he declines again. And then she just like picks up the gift box that was sitting in front of his door and gives it to him, and it turns out it's a cactus bomb. Hayato gets rid of it, but then has to go to the club to get rid of the one that got delivered there. Which, that one actually gets picked up and like tossed around by people and doesn't explode for some stupid reason.
Yeah.
Even though in the footage we've seen of how these bombs work, all it takes is like a butterfly slightly landing on it to blow it up. Like, what do you mean it doesn't explode?
Yep, that incontinuity.
Yeah.
That's honestly one of those things that I kind of feel like, you know, that's probably a good thing to see, because that makes a lot more sense as to why Toei still cannot get continuity down pat.
Yeah, it's always been a thing. But yeah, Hayato makes it in time to stop the bomb from exploding and gets rid of it. And apparently no one told anyone else in this fucking club that, by the way, if you see a cactus of a roundish shape, don't come near it. It's probably a bomb. And I'm like, are you not going to tell these other people who work at your fucking club what the fuck's going on?
Nope, because they won't believe it anyhow.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yay, we have multiplied the problem we had before with the supporting cast members. Great. I love it. Anyway, they see the delivery driver run off, and then two of the girls, the two other girls besides the one from earlier, hop on a motorcycle and give chase to the delivery guy, only they are stopped by one of the bombs. And then are attacked by shocker goons. And one of them fends them off with a stick while they have swords. And I'm like, how sturdy is that stick? Because it is literally a stick. Ma'am, you are not Kuga. You cannot transform that stick into something that can hold up to a sword. But okay, sure. But yeah, they fend him off for a little bit, and then Hayato has to step in, transforms, fights off the goons, saves the girls. And thankfully, he doesn't flub his henshin this time. So he learned.
Yeah, he learned it's unzip jacket, then pose.
Yeah. But during this, he does take the delivery man hostage, so they have someone to try to get information out of. Unfortunately, back at the club, the hostage proves mute, and Tachibana, in his infinite wisdom, decides to leave the bartender in charge of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have to look at this and go, okay, I don't know if you're all playing that that's not Hayato, or you just don't know, because I fully believe that that's Hayato at this point.
Probably.
Anyway, the girls then drop by to help guard, but then Cactus Man shows up and everyone just takes a nap because they all faint. Which also makes me go, is this part of the plan, or did you not know and you all actually fainted because one of you could probably hold your own against them for like 5 minutes or just a minute? Because you know karate, but no, you all just faint. Okay. I'm unclear if this is part of the plan or not.
Part of the plan of not telling anyone anything?
More or less. But yeah, Cactus Man takes the goon with him back to base, and apparently Taki, who grabbed onto the car that they left in, I guess, even though Cactus Man came from beneath the ground, because he can do that.
Not in a car.
Yeah. Rode it to Shocker Base and infiltrated it by dressing up as one of the goons. Unfortunately, while he's sitting in on the briefing to destroy a dam, he's pointed out as being the wrong kind of guard for a briefing, and he's like, "Ah, shit, I didn't realize you had different uniforms for different stuff." And I go, "Didn't you see them with different uniforms before? Did you just not know which one uniform to grab?"
That...
I'm pretty sure you saw Shocker goons with different uniforms.
Yeah.
Bravo, Taki, in your FBI training. Anyway, he's captured since the break, but Hayato reveals himself as being there the whole time, because I guess he's the one that Cactus Man brought back, and he was just hiding out until Taki got there, because that was the plan. So they then proceed to break into the room with all the cactus bombs by Hayato just punching the wall and just breaking in that way. And I'll be honest, I kind of like that.
Except for, punching into the room that has bombs.
That.
Someone didn't think that through.
Yeah. Anyway, they blow up different rooms of the base where goons are before Taki has to handle some goons in the main room while Hayato goes and kicks Cactus Man's ass in his greenhouse. But they fight it out for a little bit, but Hayato just makes Cactus Man trip and just fall onto the cactus bombs that are attached to his chest, that he attached to his chest, because he wanted to take out Hayato with him, because he knew he was going to get blown up for all the bullshit he's pulled. For all the failings he's did, which... when has he really failed these 2 episodes? You have succeeded just as much as every other monster has so far. You didn't even get to pull off your plan yet. Anyway, base goes boom, all the monsters are destroyed. Taki got out before everything went boom. He sees Hayato off, and that's the end of this episode. So, I guess it's this 2-parter. How'd you feel about these 2 episodes? Yeah. It feels weirdly standard for his debut. Because we don't get a whole lot of Hayato. I guess I was just expecting more, and it's just like, nope, this is just the standard 2 episodes we were going to do. Hayato's just here doing them now. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a debut for him or anything.
Yeah. Anything else, I guess?
No.
Alright then, episode 16, Wrestler of the Devil. Dino Man. It's Dino Man, because he's a dinosaur.
I like that.
That apparently he's a dinosaur because he's Dino Man because Shocker found an extinct species of a dinosaur in the fucking Amazon, I guess. Like, that's their explanation for having the DNA of this dinosaur, and I'm like, okay, sure. Whatever you say, Shocker, in your crazy mad scientist bullshit. Anyway, we kick off the episode with this new monster using a local bus to test its poison gas that it shoots from... excuse me. The fin on top of its head instead of out of its mouth. Because that's how the dinosaur does it, but why don't you spit it out of your mouth? Why do you spit it out of the fin in your head? I'm confused by your evolutionary choice, dinosaur. but it succeeds. But it proceeds to immediately die in the process because it's not strong enough to handle the kickback of the poison. I forgot what it's dying to.
It was something about the poison I kind of like partially tuned out. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a new female shocker scientist who... Okay, this is probably me just not being able to tell the difference between the two of them, but is this the same person from the other time that this has happened? Is this the same actress?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I can't get credits on this because I couldn't get credits for this episode because I wanted to check if the wrestler was an actual wrestler or not. And I don't have credits for the episode. Or there were no credits on the episode on the wiki for this. And I'm like, I don't know if this is the same person. You look similar. You also sound similar. So I'm like, I don't know. But anywho, she works with the other shocker scientists to put the information in their big computer that apparently has no name, and I am disappointed that their big giant computer has no name. I am also confused of why do all old computers in movies like this have just a screen of just one thing? Like what is that telling you? That's just not helpful.
Not at all.
No. Anyway, they find out the person that can withstand the kickback of the poison, and it turns out to be professional wrestler Noboru Kusaka. So we cut to the team at the club watching a wrestling match of this person and the other person for a championship in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And I just say, state of this fucking wrestling in this show. This wrestling looks bad. As the wrestling fan here, they did a terrible job of portraying professional wrestling. It was sloppy as fuck.
Yep.
And also, the fuck is the deal with those ropes and those turnbuckles that are the loosest fucking things I've ever seen? They are so goddamn loose. You could fall out of the ring if you try to run the ropes on those things. What the hell? Show. What? Ugh. Also, I don't know if wrestling is kayfabe or not. Or is fake or not in this. I don't think it is. I think they're portraying it as real.
I feel like it.
Which is another one of those, oh goody. But anyway, they're watching the match. Hayato's at the event getting photos for, I don't know, the Nightly Bugle or something. I'm going to say he works for the Nightly Bugle because I don't know if the show will ever say who he's taking photos for. I'm just going to say the Nightly Bugle because fuck you, I don't want to make a Spider-Man reference. Unfortunately, the film in his camera just pops out randomly, so no film for him. What camera do you have? Your film gets out that easily. Also, this guy's little brother is at the club, hanging out with the kid that's also a part of the club. I probably forgot to mention it earlier. There's a kid that's in the club now as well. I don't remember the kid's name. And I don't think he's ever going to be important.
Probably not.
But anyway, our wrestler that we're following here wins it on the second fall, which is not how you normally book a 2 out of 3 falls match, but whatever. We got time. We ain't got time for that. So he's still the champ. Thanks, Dragon Ball Girl. I lost my train of thought. So when he goes backstage to his locker, the female shocker scientist wants a photo and has this big giant pipe attached to this little small square camera that totally doesn't look suspicious. But that apparently shoots him with a train that it takes a while to kick in. But it does knock him out eventually, and they're like, this really must be the person, so they abduct him. And when she leaves, Hayato ends up running into her and wants to look at the camera, and she declines and eventually just gets away, but Hayato swipes the camera and looks at it and is like, this camera isn't like, this camera feels wrong. I should go investigate and follow them. So he follows her, but gets waylaid by a Shocker and has to deal with the goons. And the guy in Shocker that trains their monsters, who's just some regular guy?
Yeah, does that not feel weird?
Yeah, especially when he's like, I am Hurricane Joe, and I'm like, that's a fucking wrestling name. You're a goddamn wrestler, aren't you? Why can't I get credits for this? Because I'm like, you must be a wrestler, and this other guy must be a wrestler. Because there's no way in hell that you were both specifically named this much, and you are not wrestlers. Unfortunately, I don't know my Japanese wrestling history. Anyway, Hongo deals with them, but they run off. We get over to our female scientist who dumps the car into the lake or ocean, I guess. I'm not sure if it's a lake or an ocean. Dumps it in the water so everyone will think this wrestler is dead. And we see the guy getting converted and eventually tested by having him bound in chains and for him to break out and then see him no-sell a rocket to the face. I thought your problem was the kickback from poison. Why are you shooting a rocket at him? Shocker, what the hell? Anyway, we at this point cut over to the girls in Tachibana, where Tachibana is going to give them riding lessons for motorcycles, but all the girls chicken out, even though 2 of them rode on a motorcycle literally last episode, but no, we don't want to do it this time. I'm confused on what their point is.
Yeah, kind of with you on that one.
Yeah. But then Hayato shows up and he wants Tachibana to time him for a lap because I guess Hayato needs to be somewhere away from the team after he investigated all this so he can be attacked by Shocker, which he is in the middle of his lap and no one is the wiser about it. And he proceeds to get dunked into this little body of water. And nobody goes looking for him for 3 hours plus.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Does no one think that maybe Shocker attacked him and that it might be a problem?
Nope.
Oh my god. So after this, we see that our wrestler re-debut as a heel, as a masked wrestler. I think it's Masked Satan or something like that. He proceeds to kick the shit out of somebody. But the little brother recognizes him and he's at the event, and he tries to confront him after the match, only for our wrestler not to recognize him, and then under orders from Shocker, proceeds to just lift him up into a gorilla press position and then just yeet him off screen. Because I guess that's the plan to deal with this kid, is just to yeet him into the nearest wall.
Yeet him into oblivion.
More or less. Thankfully, Hayato is here, okay, from nearly drowning, I guess, and catches the kid, and then proceeds to try to get him away from all the goons that are attacking him. And then Taki arrives, realizing that, something must be up. And he helps get the kid away, because he fights a couple of the Shocker goons and gets one of their little boomerang swords, and then gives it to Hayato? instead of keeping it to get the kid away.
Yeah.
I also love that in the preceding next scene when Hayato has to fight the monster in the trainer, he does decide to throw the sword at one of them. It doesn't work because he just ducks it, but I appreciate that you're at least trying to use the sword like a boomerang. So Hayato fights the two of them, and we end the episode just like the other first episode, mid-fight. I have a feeling this is going to be a trend.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I like this trend of let's end the episode mid-fight. And the fight quickly resolves in the next episode.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, to be fair.
So how'd you feel about this first half?
Like, I almost feel like we're just like, okay, everything is still just proceeding as planned. And we're not really taking any time to make headway with anything. We're just kind of just keeping on plucking away at it.
Yep.
It's almost as if this is filler in a weird spot, though.
Yeah, especially for a guy who's debuting.
I mean, I understand this was kind of a forced debut, but wouldn't you try to rewrite some episodes even a little bit to kind of accommodate for that?
Yeah.
I get the arc he came in on, maybe having to break that into a two-parter to try to explain a little bit, but I really don't see why this needs to be a two-parter.
No, we could be done in one, but no, we need this monster in Hayato doing a wrestling match in the next episode based off the preview. I can at least appreciate that the two of them are going to have the end of their fight in a ring. Assumingly. Like, if we get that, these episodes are partially redeemed, in my eyes. If this fight is literally in a ring and Hayato literally has to suplex him to beat him. If somebody is not suplexed in this fight, I am disappointed.
So you might be disappointed?
Probably. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we're in the area where these episodes are fine. This feels kind of standard and meh. I think this is the age now showing where it's like, yeah, we have no plot progression because we have no hierarchy for our writers to work through. Really? So it's more or less, here's the monster of 2 weeks, more or less.
Yeah.
And there's nothing interesting about the story in there so far. Anywho, anything else?
No.
Well, next week, we're going to round out this two-parter and maybe be back on track. We might be hitting this, 3 looks thing again as we hit the second half of an episode, get a two-parter, and then the first half of another episode. I'm not sure. We'll find out. But yeah, the usual stuff this week. Custom Robo, the new Pokemon DLC, KH2, City of Mists, as long as everything doesn't explode again.
It shouldn't.
I would hope not. And then back around to here on Sundays. But if you like what you're seeing so far, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. We're technically done with this average viewer goal, more or less. We'll bump it up to 3, I guess, this week. Probably.
Yeah.
I guess just going down the list I had, what's the next that I have on the list? Was that 15?
Oh god, is it?
Probably. Yep. So the next follower goal for me is me to actually play all of Final Fantasy 15. At TG Saloon on Twitter gets you updates on when we go live. And exclamation point Discord and chat gets a Discord link. Drop by, say, hey, we have Dropbox for questions. Please give us questions. We can use them for our podcast. But that will do it for me and for Tommy. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.